Hello and welcome. So good to be back with you. I hope you have some coffee or something else good to drink with you this morning. I just have plain black coffee and it is very good so far. We'll see how it does as it gets colder. Hopefully I can finish it before that. But let's jump into the Bible. We're still in our study on reputation, and I'm still in Matthew 5. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Skipping over a little piece, and we will be coming back to it probably in a later lesson at some point, because it's super interesting, just in a different part. But we're going to go on to verse 21 of Matthew chapter 5, and I'm going to hit the titles that they have on this part through 6, actually. We're going to be talking about anger, lust, divorce, oaths, remember that from the first lesson, retaliation, and loving your enemies, and how important all of these things are to our reputation. Now, obviously, I could go into every single one of these, and we could do a lesson on every single one of these categories. But that's not really the point that I'm getting at today, of doing all of that. So, anger. I'll start here. You have heard that it was said to those of old, "You shall not murder." We all probably agree with that. "And whoever murders will be liable to judgment. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Everyone who insults his brother will be liable to the council. Whoever says 'you fool' will be liable to the hell of fire. So if you are offering a gift at the altar, and remember that your brother has something against you, your brother even has something against you, leave your gift before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put in prison. Truly I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny." We have to make it right. All of these will go into this. Lust. You've heard that you've heard that it was said, "You shall not commit adultery." I got ahead of my words there. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart, or with him in her heart. Divorce. It was also said, "Whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce." But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the ground of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Oaths. Again, you have heard that it was said of those of old, "You shall not answer falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn." But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair of white or black. Let what you say simply yes or no. Anything more than that comes from evil. Wow. Let's take a stop right there. Obviously, yes, I skipped through this. I did not read every single verse of this whole passage so far. What are we getting here? About a reputation, about a lifestyle that we want to live, that we are commanded to live here, that we're supposed to live, is that anger, even saying that someone is a fool in our heart, like saying that they are a fool, is as bad. So we are liable to the hell of fire. It's as bad as actually killing them. It is still a sin. lust, just having that sideways look, is as bad as committing adultery with them, sexual immorality with them. Divorce, it's not biblical, except for on the grounds of sexual immorality. Saying we grew apart, not on the list. That's not a thing. Oaths, and this is very important as well. The very end, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Because we can't control anything else. We have no right to make a promise or an oath or a swear on anything, because we can't control anything. Our reputation, all these should be, is that we don't use these words. We strive, we don't use the words of a fool, hate, even having anger. Try not to have those outbursts, that we don't look at other women or other men, girls, guys, whatever, and that we don't promise on something else, that we build a reputation based on some of these other things, that when we say yes, we will do something. It just means that we will do something. And I can't remember where the passage is. It goes on to say that, I believe it's Paul, says, as the Lord wills, I will do it. Because even our yes and no, we can't control that we're actually going to be able to show up somewhere. We might not show up somewhere because of something we can't control. Our lives are not our own. We might not make it. We can't say no because God might be like, yeah, no, you're going to do that. This is it. And it's going to just happen. God might change your heart. God might say, yeah, you're not making it to that because I don't want you there because of some other reason. Maybe he calls you home. Maybe he has someone else you need to be with. I wish I could remember where that verse was, but bear with me. It's so important that we build these reputations and a lifestyle of honest work of our tongues and of our minds. To know whether or not we have problems with oaths or anger or lust, we have to actually evaluate ourselves. We go on for retaliation. This is just be quick. An eye for an eye or tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you, turn him the other cheek. And it goes on to explain more about that. Give without stopping. Is that a reputation? Yes, it is. Is that a reputation you have? Reputation I have? I don't know. I hope so. Doing good to those who intend you evil. Doing good to those who intend you good. Regardless, shining the light of Christ. And as we go, we say yes or no, as the Lord wills. Yes, if it pleases the Lord, no. And then we honor what we say we're going to do, and we work on the areas that we struggle in. Are we known as workers, men and women of our word? Or are we known as people who sit back and are lazy and use words in our sight flippantly? and never mean what we say when we say yes or no. Think about it. Thank you, and I will see you again hopefully next week.